It's August 14th, 2021. It's an interesting evening. So Haiti had some kind of earthquake. Then something's going on in Afghanistan. And then I notice, oh my God, the news puts on this coronavirus. And it has a crescent moon with little blood dots, almost like little Brussels sprouts, coming off of the half moon, like hemorrhoids. I wonder what that could mean in symbology and actuality.
Children are okay. The quake, though, in 2010 killed about 250,000 people, and the island is still recovering from it some 11 years later. What happened this morning, though, is only setting the country back that also just had its president assassinated not too long ago. But again, people here and this
in Haiti,
they are devastated.
Now, is he Haitian?
This morning,
or is he Santo Domingo? I'm not versed enough. Or is he one of the enemies from elsewhere? I'm just curious.
In Afghanistan, CBS News has learned that the U.S. is preparing for the strong possibility that the Taliban will gain control of the nation's capital in just days. Here's CBS 2's Michael George.
I call it a Santiago Domingo, Saturday on a Sunday. I can't tell the difference.
Afghanistan's capital city and is readying a plan to evacuate nearly all U.S. diplomats in the next few days. The Taliban seized 3 more provinces Saturday, moving closer to Kabul. Only 2 major cities still remain in control of the Western-backed government. President Biden held a secure video
now,
conference
this is the
from
president
Camp
I
David
know.
With his national security team to discuss the
but
evacuation
they say there's another president. I didn't know.
He also released a statement saying 5,000 U.S. troops will be deployed to help get U.S. personnel and Afghans who assisted in the mission out of the country. And he warned the Taliban not to interfere. At the U.S. Embassy in Kabul, CBS News has learned a burn and destroy order to get rid of sensitive information has been in place for days, and security engineers are destroying hard drives. Kabul's international airport was busy in the wake of the insurgents' march towards the capital. Security was tight as the city's more than 4 million residents brace for a potential civil war or a return to Taliban control.
Freedom, equality, and women's rights, all of these things are the issues with everyone is concerned about that.
They're killing women who were born and raised here.
Afghanistan's president is ignoring calls to step down, saying he'll continue to work to prevent instability and violence. Michael George, CBS News.
More than 50 people are rushed to the hospital after a tour bus overturned in upstate New York. It happened just after 12:30 this afternoon. State police say the bus was traveling westbound on the New York State Thruway in Brutus. That's about a half hour west of Syracuse when it crashed onto the grassy shoulder. 57 people were on board. All were taken to the hospital for injuries ranging from minor to serious. The bus was on its way to
the hospital was there. Great. If not, oh well.
Why the driver veered off the road. COVID hospitalizations have reached a record rate for...
Now, here's a question. Here, this corona pandemic, here's a quarter moon, no stars though, and like hemorrhoids coming off of it. Is that like time dilation in actuality? Is that how you're all like recording it for the century 20, year 21 debauchery? Since I'm Centurion, Century 19, Year 78 arrival in Born Identity, I belong in an old world, old UK money, happily ever after fairy tale, but yet I'm in this American war, in some civil uprising of people I couldn't give 2 fucking shits about, and vice versa. It's the way it works. In your humanness for all area, dumb fucking and useless. Like, alien happily ever after always comes first. I don't know why I'm stuck in human, couldn't give 2 shits. Let's see. Okay, so this word, even in Corona Queens, right, it's like a Central Mexican revolution, that's what it looks like. I saw some of their residents in Venezuela and Obama's half of Venezuela, whatever that means. And then there's virus, right? Here's the thing. Vi meaning life, and rus meaning field of study of the gods. The gods do the field of study and then tell the humans. So I don't really get where this is advantageous for the alien abducted by the humanness that she hates. Whether it be called America or anything else for that matter. I don't understand why you have this crescent moon thing going on, some really dangerous blood spattering over here, and like nobody knows what this actually means in survival tactics. Seems like they're a little confused. Don't know why. Let's see. On coronavirus. Right, it does tie into Navi, on Navidad. Oh, right, here's the other thing. I spoke to a Hispanic man up on the avenue. I said, do me a favor. I said, I heard Venezuela mentioned the other day on the news media. He called someone the white devil. What does that mean in your Hispanic culture? And now this was a blonde, like blondo kind of sort of, but like not really. I mean, darker than I am anyway, and not my lineage, but whatever. He's got a little Asian in his blood. But so I said to him, I was like, so what does the white devil mean? He's like, the Papa. And I was like, the Papa? I was like, you mean the father? You call the white devil the father? And he's like, yeah. And then he showed me a photo. I'm like, I've never heard of this before. Why would you call the... He's like, because he's like gross. He does bad things. And I'm like... And then he showed me a photo, and I'm like, oh, you mean the Pope? P-O-P-E. He's like, yeah, that's the white devil. And I'm like, oh, right, tenancy issues. I forget, everybody hates the adult on the field. I'm like, right, okay. I was like, so, now why is he so bad to you and your people? And he's like, now here's the thing. If the Pope is only Catholic... and he's responsible for planetary safety, then why the hell are you calling him the devil? What, because he's like the best lawyer on the planet? I'm just asking. Because this gets confusing. I even said to the guy, I'm like, listen to me. I was like, let's put it this way. If there's a man and a woman, and they have like a piece of this planetary responsibility, and like he is having a problem, and it's the body is the land, and the man responsible for the whatever, like if you touch my woman, if you dig in the dirt, it becomes now like you touched like my woman kind of a thing on paper. It's I mean, it's an old tradition, but it gets a little crazy and dicey once it hits the news media and all the children of dumb, fucking, and useless make up some other story as to how to disrespect all the respectful people in the world. I was like, so go ahead, tell me why he's the white devil again. I was like, apparently I'm his best defense attorney on this public street because all you Americans are so stupid. I mean, it's just like, holy cow. Anyway, so that happened, and I'm like, so why are you letting Biden, this is a question for you and Putin at president level, why are you guys letting so many of these colored folks into America when all they want to do is be really upset at the white good guy and the best lawyer on the planet, I suppose, if we're going under that theology. And then they don't like the Christians then, although they wear the cross, although they wear the creepy one where they already nailed Jesus to it. So I guess they stay under the radar as they sneak in and take over and like make things really difficult. How does that work? Just curious. Anybody plan for any of this? Anybody like Nashville? I mean, did you have a conversation with R&B and like the rappers up in New York before you allowed all this last 4 decades to take place after you fucked the first 3 decades before up? I'm just curious, between the United Kingdom of Animals and the United States of Animals. Because it doesn't look like anybody prepared really for anything except the enemy, who's now just running amok and they're just adultless. They're topless, they're adultless. I mean, I could go on and on, but why bother? That's what the good men of somewhere else is for. Star 1978, star 8378. It's a Saturday night. Walked up on the avenue, or up on the boulevard, with my pink umbrella for my last Victorian crossing of humans path, to make a statement. And they had a really nice band with electric guitars, but like, it was a hillbilly special. It was like a tribute. I listened to 2 songs, and then all of a sudden they went into rock and roll, and I was like, now they just took the envelope. Like, here's the line of like, I really like classical. I like beats and classical, even techno I'll deal with, but like that screeching 1950s, 60s, oh my God, you children are evil. Anyway, so I hightailed it out of that. As I'm coming down the boulevard, leaving the heathens that play the electric guitar to fucking blind you and like maul you by like razor blades out of their guitar strings, I head straight into the shitbags that play jazz like noise pollution. They're the ones that play, it's like giving a 5-year-old sticks and going, go ahead and play professional. And you can play all the instruments at once and just keep banging them, give them pots, pans, whatever. There is no congruency whatsoever, and they're just like happily like doing it more and getting louder and louder in their obnoxiousness, and you're sitting there like, why doesn't somebody just shut them down? Like, why do you let them hit beats that are so fucking off-key? I mean, the world and loud, like, crowd is noisy enough in this earth and in this simulation. And then you add more noise to it, in noise pollution. And then I even said to the security guard that I had talked to earlier, I'm like, listen, I was like, and I said it really loud, I'm like, this has got to be the worst possible band and music choice. I was like, it's like noise pollution. I was like, it just doesn't sound right. I really hate this kind of jazz. I was like, and I don't know what's worse, because I got down there was screeching guitars. I'm just like, I was like, I'm going home. I was like, I've had enough. And I just walked away. So, and of course, I had to leave her there, and I felt really bad that she had to endure this kind of disgusting offbeat jazz that it's just, it hurts the body and the mind and the sound. It just does. The timing is off so bad, and then you add this offbeat to the off timing, and you get a fucking half a hemorrhoid crescent moon with like Brussels sprout blood spatter everywhere. It's a problem. I also ran into the man who told me about Backstage. He asked me, interestingly enough, about the, I told him about the eyes the other time. He asked me about the Starbucks and said I should go back in. And I'm like, now that's weird. Like, I didn't know about that, but I'm like, whatever. I was like, I've gone in several times, but they're just so disgustingly discriminatory. I told him the exact event that happened. I'd been there for like 3 years sitting quietly. I get my coffee, I sit, I'm quiet. I stayed on my phone, I listened to music, I didn't talk to patrons, I didn't talk to the staff. I mean, I was cordial, but I wasn't going to sit there like they were my best friends and entertain me. Certainly not. And so, and then one day, this really nasty shitbag that was in there, he always had an attitude with everybody, not just me, but other people as well. Joe Carollo, the SUV and the helicopter guy, right, yeah, he noticed the same attitude thing, but not just with me, but like with himself and others. So it wasn't just like a white thing or like a handsome, tall, glad to see you kind of a thing and boxers. It was just whatever. So then I said to the guy, I was like, it was about a free coffee that I was due, and I asked for it, and he said that I had left and come back, but I mean, I'm there every day, and I had run out of money on my card, and it was a one-time thing, and it was more of a courtesy than anything. And then one of the other people stepped in to tell him to do it, and then try to school me on as if the kid who's giving me the attitude was correct, which I then told that person, don't even go, please, do not do that. Do not make his behavior seem acceptable to the way he treated me as a customer, because it wasn't. And I don't want to go deeper into it because I don't want to be angry with you, and I don't have a problem with you normally. I was like, so please just do not speak to me like any kind of in an authoritative manner. I was like, because what he just did is wrong, and that's it. And then the next time I went back, they told me I could no longer have coffee there. And almost like to incite discriminatory. So anyway, long story short is I told the gentleman tonight who asked me on August 14th, 2021, I said, I really hope that people like that who come here and who want democracy and diplomacy, I hope they all bleed through their eyes and their nose and die off in entirety. Because they come to New York wanting these things and like voting for these things and pushing for these things, but then they themselves become discriminatory against those that afford them such ability to travel to a land that holds these kind of things in high esteem and tries to manage to keep these things going in a large social endeavor or project. And so the man was like, thank you, fist pump. And I'm like, and he asked me, he's like, did you get your shot? And I go, I don't believe in your humanness. I said, I am an alien abducted by humans, and your humanness and that shot thing you just asked, I don't believe in your medicine. That's all. I won't take it. I don't want it. I don't believe you. That's it. You're human. So anyway, so he was just like, right, okay. So that's why he like took a step back, which I was fine with, because who the hell wants to stand so close? And then I went on my merry way. And that's my interaction with you people. It just is what it is. I really don't have to keep doing this, because there's really no fucking point. There's only demerits, because I really don't see merit. I mean, like, him tonight for coming out, great, thanks, but how many more of these fucking, like, merit appointments do I fucking need to get back to the man that I was taken from in original and founder at UK Old World Money that I belong to, that I want to go back to, that I never wanted to be taken from, in order to do anything human, which I really couldn't give two shits about, because you're a failing, dying breed that keeps making everything fucking worse. Star 1978, star 8378, Nicole Cattaruzza. It's Bayside Station, Bayside, New York, 11361.